Before this story begins, do me a small favor. If you love emotional stories that feel real, stories that make you laugh, ache, and believe again, tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us until the very end. What happens in the last moments of this story changes everything, and you won't want to miss it. The first thing Daniel noticed was the sound. Ice clinking against plastic, then the gasp, then the silence, heavy, sharp, the kind that makes your stomach drop before your brain catches up. The drink he was carrying, a cheap soda he'd bought as a small Christmas Eve treat for his daughter, was no longer in his hand. It was dripping down a woman's pristine ivory coat, darkening the fabric inch by inch. Her heels were designer, her posture was flawless, and her eyes, those eyes were the kind that didn't miss details or forgive mistakes. The airport terminal buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt like the entire world had stopped just to watch him mess up. "I'm so sorry," Daniel blurted out, already reaching for napkins, his hands shaking. "I wasn't looking, my daughter," she slipped, "and please, I'll clean it." The woman looked down at the stain, then back at him. Slowly, deliberately. "Do you have any idea how much this coat costs?" she asked, her voice calm but razor-edged. Daniel swallowed. He didn't. He just knew the answer was more than his bank account had ever seen at one time. Around them, people pretended not to stare. His daughter Lily tugged on his sleeve, her small fingers cold through his jacket. "Daddy, am I in trouble?" she whispered, eyes wide and scared. "No, sweetheart," he said quickly, kneeling to her level. "You're okay. Daddy's got this." The woman watched this exchange, something unreadable flickering across her face. "Christmas Eve," she said softly, almost to herself. Then louder, "My assistant booked me the last flight out. I have a board meeting in New York tomorrow morning. And now this. I can pay," Daniel said, though he had no idea how. "Not all at once, but I'll figure it out. I promise." She studied him for a long moment. Worn jacket, tired eyes, a man who looked like he hadn't slept enough in years. A child clinging to him like he was the only safe thing in the world. "Fine," she said, "but not the way you think." That was how Daniel Carter, single father, substitute teacher, and professional over-apologizer, ended up agreeing to repay a stranger by going on a date with her. Her name was Evelyn Harper. He learned that later, when she handed him a card, clean, minimalist, heavy stock. CEO, tech company, a name he vaguely recognized from business headlines he never had time to read. "One date," she said. "Dinner. Tomorrow night. If you show up, we'll call the debt settled." Daniel stared at the card like it might explode. "You want me to take you out?" "I want to see who you are when you're not panicking in an airport," she replied. "If you don't come, I'll send you the cleaning bill. Trust me, you don't want that." She walked away before he could argue, heels clicking, coat still damp, leaving Daniel standing there with Lily in a Christmas Eve that had just taken a very strange turn. That night, Lily fell asleep clutching her new coloring book, oblivious to the storm in Daniel's chest. He sat at the small kitchen table long after midnight, staring at Evelyn's card. Dating wasn't part of his life anymore. Not since Lily's mother passed away 3 years earlier. Love felt like something from another lifetime. A luxury he couldn't afford. But neither could that coat. The restaurant Evelyn chose was the kind of place Daniel had only seen in movies. White tablecloths, soft piano music, waiters who somehow knew when to appear and disappear. Daniel wore his best shirt, the one without a stain, and spent the first 10 minutes convinced he didn't belong. Evelyn arrived precisely on time. Different dress, same confidence, but when she sat down, something shifted. She smiled, not the tight, polite smile from the airport. A real one. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Most people wouldn't." "I didn't really have a choice," Daniel replied honestly. She laughed, and the sound surprised him. It was warm, human, not the laugh of someone who ruled boardrooms. As the evening unfolded, walls cracked. Daniel talked about Lily, about late-night homework battles and mornings that started too early. Evelyn talked about building her company from nothing, about pressure, expectations, and loneliness at the top. They were opposites on paper, but something strange and quiet connected them. Still, reality didn't disappear. When Lily got sick 2 weeks later, Daniel canceled a follow-up dinner without hesitation. Evelyn didn't respond. Not that night, not the next day. Guilt gnawed at him, but his daughter came first. Always. Then, on Christmas morning, there was a knock at the door. Evelyn stood there, holding a small gift bag, snow dusting her hair. I realized something, she said, awkward for the first time since he'd met her. I don't want a man who prioritizes me over his child. I want a man who never would. From there, the challenges didn't magically vanish. There were awkward moments, misunderstandings, long nights where Daniel felt too small for her world and Evelyn felt too rich to be understood. The media noticed, opinions formed, pressure mounted. The breaking point came when Daniel overheard someone call him a charity case at one of Evelyn's events. He left without saying goodbye. Days passed, silence. Then Evelyn showed up at Lily's school play, sitting quietly in the back, clapping louder than anyone. Afterward, she found Daniel in the hallway, eyes shining. I don't need you to fit into my world, she said. I need you to let me fit into yours. That was the moment Daniel finally understood. Love wasn't about balance sheets or status. It was about choosing each other, again and again, even when it was inconvenient. Especially then, on the anniversary of the spill, 1 year later, Daniel and Lily stood in the same airport terminal. Evelyn joined them, holding Lily's hand. Daddy, Lily said, grinning. Are you gonna spill a drink on Mommy again? Daniel laughed, pulling them both close. Not a chance. Sometimes, the messiest moments lead to the most beautiful endings. Sometimes, accidents are invitations in disguise. And sometimes, love shows up when you least expect it, asking not for perfection, but for honesty, courage, and heart. If this story moved you, reminded you of hope, or made you believe in second chances, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. More stories like this are coming, and the next one might be exactly what you need to hear.